Welcome to live coverage of the FA Cup fifth round under the lights at the City Ground in Nottingham as Nottingham Forest, struggling Nottingham Forest, take on Manchester United in an FA Cup fifth round tie, with the winners potentially playing Liverpool, who have to host Southampton later this evening. The appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo at Nottingham Forest manager has failed to have the desired effect on their season, as a 4-2 loss to Aston Villa at the weekend left the Tricky Trees just 4 points clear of the Premier League drop zone. Perhaps the FA Cup can provide a welcome distraction as Forest enter the fifth round for just the second time in a decade. But with 12-time winners Manchester United standing in their way, progress looks a tall order. We've also got updates with Kieran Riley, who's at Molinuex this evening, for Wolverhampton Wanderers and Manchester United. Let's go over there now to Kieran for some team news.
Very good evening, Paul. Thank you very much. From Molinuex today, obviously we've got 7th place Brighton against 9th place Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves after a very strong start to the season, also into the quarter-final, into the fifth round of the Cup, I should say. I'm getting ahead of myself there. Team news, it's 3 changes for the Wolves side. We've got starting in goal is Jose Sarr. We've got a back line of the captain, Max Kilman. Santiago Moreno joins the starting lineup. Totti Gomez also on the lineup as well. Coming into the midfield, we've got McDoherty coming in as well. Joel Gomez, Mario Larima and Ryan Ait-Nouri running down the wing. A striking partnership of Tommy Doyle and Hwang Hee-chan. And up front, we've got Jean Richter Bellegarde. Brighton going with a slightly changed side as well from their last Premier League game. We've got Steele in goal with Igor Dunk and Van Hecke in the back line, along with Esputan, Rob, Pepion and Moda taking up the midfield, and up front 3 of Adinga, Bonate and Fati. It's going to tie up for a very exciting game. Wolves will be looking to progress into the quarter-finals so they can take on their West Mids counterparts, Coventry City, in the quarter-finals, but it's going to be a tough test after Brighton smashed us 5-1 down at Molinuex at the start of the season. So this is going to tape up to be a fantastic game, Paul.
All right, thank you, Kieran, for that. We'll be back to you for updates during the game, and that is sure to be a fantastic cup tie. Just some news coming in, by the way, from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have fallen behind to Leeds United early on. A goal on the 90th minute from Mateo Joseph, the 20-year-old. So Leeds United take an early shock lead at Stamford Bridge. Should be real interesting to see what goes down there. Especially with Chelsea in their current form right now and under fire manager Mauricio Pochettino. This is a very, very, very serious situation for Mauricio Pochettino right now. He is going to be looking to get his side back on track there for sure. Back here at the City Ground, let's take a look at the team news. Nottingham Forest have decided to make 4 changes from the defeat to Aston Villa at the weekend. Matt Sells takes a rest tonight and Matt Turner deputises in goal. Moussa Niakate comes out and is replaced by Harry Toffolo. Nicholas Dominguez loses his position as a holding midfield role, and Ryan Yates steps back in tonight and he'll wear the captain's armband. Callum Hudson-Odoi drops to the bench and Divock Origi comes in instead. For Manchester United, 3 changes themselves from the disappointing home defeat to Fulham. They bring in Sofian Amrabat for Harry Maguire. Kobe Mainoo is replaced by Scott McTominay, and Omari Forson steps down for Anthony. So let's just take a quick look at the starting lineups for you. For Nottingham Forest, who are managed by Nuno Espirito Santo, line up as follows. Matt Turner in goal, Harry Toffolo, Murillo, Felipe and Nico Williams are the back line. The 2 holding midfielders are Danilo and Ryan Yates, the captain. The 3 behind Taiwo Awoniyi are Divock Origi, Morgan Gibbs-White and Anthony Elanga, of course, with Taiwo up front by himself. For Manchester United, much the same system for Erik ten Hag. Sofian Amrabat, Rafael Varane, Victor Lindelof and Diogo Dalot are the back 4. with Scott McTominay and Casemiro in the holding midfield role, with Alejandro Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, the captain, and Anthony making up the front three behind, holding the line, Marcus Rashford. The substitutes that we've got are Nicholas Dominguez, the 18-year-old Joe Gardner, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Chetaku Kuyate, Musa Niakate, Andrew Omobamidele, Giovanni Reina and Rodrigo Ribeiro, and the substitute goalkeeper for Forest is Odysseus Vlachodimos. And for Manchester United, their substitute goalkeeper is Altay Bayinda. Toby Collier, who will make his debut today, he's only 20 years old. Amad Diallo, Christian Eriksen, Johnny Evans, Omari Forson, Willie Kambwala, Kobe Mainu and Haib Ogdiene would also make his debut if he comes on today. Manchester United opting for youth on their bench this evening. Our referee today is Chris Kavanagh. He's 38 and he's from Ashton-under-Lyne in Greater Manchester. This is Chris Kavanagh's third match he has taken charge of in the competition this season. He will be joined on the lines by Neil Davis and Akil Howson. And the fourth official is David Webb. We have 3 VARs in the FA Cup competition for this season. Darren Bond. The assistant is Simon Bennett, and the support VAR is Michael Salisbury. So we're about ready to get underway here as the players gather together. Just taking a look at 2 of the better players that we've got on offer today, Taiwo Awoniyi and Alejandro Garnacho. Both very, very good finishers of the ball. Awoniyi has 6 goals this season. Garnacho has 7. And both have been very, very successful and will be ones to watch out for. Well, for Erik ten Hag, as we take a look at him now, he's very much under fire right now. And this takes me back to the days of 1990. When Mark Robins scored the only ever victory for Manchester United in the FA Cup against Nottingham Forest. Mark Robins' goal was alleged to have saved Alex Ferguson's job at the time. It's hard to imagine when you think of what Ferguson had done since. But Nottingham Forest now just gathering together at the centre circle. Now, we've got Ethan Gardner alongside us today, and Ethan, a huge match today for both teams, really for Nottingham Forest as well, as they're struggling in the league right now. All right, so I don't have Ethan right now, I'm afraid. There's some technical issues there. We'll wait and see whether we can get Ethan back to us, as booming in the background is the anthem at the City Ground, as the game is about to get underway, with Manchester United wearing their white shirts, red shorts and white socks. They will be attacking the Trent End in the first half, which is the goal to our left. Forest in their famous red shirts, white shorts and red socks. They will be attacking the Bridgeford End as Manchester United get this game underway. And Amrabat just drops it back to Rafael Varane. He plays it across to Victor Lindelof. Lindelof has got a bit of space in front of him. He plays it down the left-hand side. And it's searching there for the number 20, Diogo Dalla, to Alejandro Garnacho. He drops the ball back there. And we've already got a comment in the comment section already. James Summerskill, good evening to JB, Russ, Paul, Luke, Ethan, and all the gents at the TC Hub up in the gantry. Thank you, James. Good evening to you. We hope you enjoy the coverage this evening as Garnacho drops the ball back there to Victor Lindelof. Victor Lindelof just inside his own half of the field there. Plays the ball forward to Scott McTominay, drops it back with Diogo Dalla. Dalla plays the ball across the width of the pitch over to Rafael Varane, who slips the ball down this left-hand side to Amrabat. Amrabat, well, it's really a hospital pass there to Casemiro, and Casemiro was almost dispossessed. In the end, it broke loose to Victor Lindelof, and he cleared the ball downfield and into touch. That lead for Leeds United didn't last very long. Nicholas Jackson has equalised there on 15 minutes at Stamford Bridge. Throwing to be taken by Nico Williams of Forest down this right-hand side. He throws the ball into the Manchester United half, and it's picked up by Morgan Gibbs-White. Across there to Anthony Elanga, the former Manchester United player. Corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. Elanga with a shot, but it's blocked well there by Casemiro, and it goes behind for the game's first corner inside 2 minutes. And going over to take that is Alejandro Garnacho. If you've just joined us, we've also got updates on the Leeds, on the Wolverhampton Wanderers and Brighton and Hove Albion match. Kieran is at Molinuex there, and we'll get an early update from him in about 5 minutes' time. For the time being, we'll get over there actually in just a moment, because I'm just wondering if I'm getting an update for an early goal for Wolves. We'll get over there after this corner. Morgan Gibbs-White is going to take it. It's swung in from the left-hand side and headed out of play back there to Danilo, and Danilo plays it back to Morgan Gibbs-White down that left-hand side. Gibbs-White just cutting inside. Good work by him. But Diogo Dalot clears the ball away. Okay, let's get over there to Molinuex. An early goal. Has it come for Wolves, Kieran?
It's an opening goal for Wolves with inside 2 minutes. Bellegarde with a nice cheeky little cross in, foiled by the Brighton defence, picked up by that man, Mario Lemina, with his left foot. It's a fantastic little dink over the goalkeeper. 2 minutes in, Wolves 1, Brighton 0. It's on.
Cheers, Kieran. Thank you so much for that. As Garnacho gets down the left-hand side, gets the cross in, but that is blocked there by Felipe. Goes behind for a corner. I believe we do have Ethan Gardner now. Good evening to you, Ethan.
Yes, good evening, Paul. Sorry about that. There were some issues with my mic there.
Oh, no problem. I'll get your early thoughts here in just a moment, but we've got a corner down the left-hand side. And it's going to be taken by Bruno Fernandes, in fact. Fernandes just drops the ball back to the corner of the penalty area. Does a 1-2 with Garnacho. Comes back on the edge of the penalty area. Shot hits the crossbar. Oh, what a chance for Anthony. It just came right back to the edge of the penalty area, and Anthony struck it, and it clipped the top of the crossbar. And a warning shot fired by Manchester United there. Oh, what a good effort that was, Ethan.
It was a great effort and a really nicely worked routine, you have to say, from Man United. Simple yet effective, and what an opportunity it opened up from Anthony there.
Well, definitely Manchester United, really. And as we look at this again, as Bruno Fernandes remains down as well, he's back on his feet now, but that is a very early warning sign for Nottingham Forest as Nico Williams runs the ball out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester United as Forest on the back foot early on here. And the throw-in is going to be taken by Amrabat. He throws it down to Garnacho, back to Amrabat. Amrabat plays it all the way back into his own half to Rafael Varane. Andre Onana's just going for a wander right now around the edge of his penalty area. And Rafael Varane now has the ball, midway inside his own half of the field. And he does a quick 1-2 there with the number 18, Casemiro. And it's now with Varane. Varane over the halfway line. He's got options left and right. He decides to drop the ball back to Victor Lindelof. And Lindelof plays the ball over to Anthony on the left-hand side. Anthony just trying to get away from Harry Toffolo, but that is a good challenge by the Forest left back on Anthony there. Fine challenge. And we're going to have a throw-in, and it's going to be taken here by Diogo Dalot. And it's almost level with the Forest penalty area down that right-hand side. And Diogo Dalot takes it quickly and gives it to Anthony. Anthony just drops the ball back there to Casemiro. It's now with Dalot again, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Dalot pulls it back and drops it back to Anthony. There's a quick 1-2 with Dalot. Anthony looking to get the ball in. He dinks it in towards the back post. Garnacho goes up for it under pressure from Williams there, but Garnacho just shields him away and gives the ball to Amrabat. Amrabat back to Bruno Fernandes. It's midway inside now, the Nottingham Forest half of the field. And you can tell already, Bruno, that Manchester United just dominating possession and control of the ball early on. And here's Anthony, corner of the penalty area. It's dropped back there. And finally, Scott McTominay picks it up in the midfield. And he drops the ball back into his own half to Victor Lindelof again. As once again, we seem to be having some trouble trying to get Ethan. We'll try again in a moment. As another challenge there by this time by Danilo, and now Forest can come away with Divock Origi, but he only manages to give the ball to Casemiro, who knocks it back into his own half, and it goes all the way through to Andre Onana. Ethan, do we still have you here?
Yes, indeed you do. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm still here, still with you.
Okay, perfect. Manchester United dominating possession early on. They seem to be well in control at the moment.
Yeah, they look comfortable, and you can see that they're starting to bring forward even their defenders. Amrabat's coming forward from left back, just controlling possession, toying, and perhaps looking to open up this stubborn Forest defence.
Oh, and there's a free header for McTominay, and it's a good save in the end by Turner. And here's Bruno Fernandes, crosses the ball back in. And the header by Anthony, but just for a moment, Nottingham Forest really caught out in the middle there. As the cross came in just from the right-hand side by Diogo Dalot. And there was Scott McTominay. And Scott McTominay, of course, is Manchester United's leading scorer this season, which is somewhat surprising. But a free header there on the edge of the 6-yard box with nobody there, Ethan.
Yeah, he perhaps should do better there, McTominay. It's a great chance to work down the right-hand side. Dalot on the overlap is always going to be a danger for Manchester United. It's a free header, and really you'd think the Scotland international, especially one-on-one with the goalkeeper like that.
Yes, well, he's got 8 goals this season as Scott McTominay. He could have made it number 9 there, but I think, as Ethan said, certainly should have done a little bit better. Here's Marcus Rashford. He's dispossessed by Danilo, and Danilo plays the long ball looking for Divock Origi. He's on his way. Divock Origi in the penalty area gets a shot away, but it's right at Andre Onana. But a good run by Divock Origi, as Forest fans have really not seen the best of Divock Origi so far, but that was really him at his best there. Just outstripping Sofiane Amrabat, getting into the penalty area. Unfortunately, the finish just wasn't quite as good, Ethan.
No, it was a little bit of a tame finish in the end, but it's one of the things interesting I picked out when I saw the lineups. Amrabat at left back having to deal with the pace of the likes of Origi and Elanga. It's going to be an interesting battle all throughout the night, I think, because with Nico Williams as well on the overlap, Amrabat's going to have a lot of work to do in defence.
Here's Danilo. Danilo played it across to Toffolo, and Toffolo plays it to Anthony Elanga, the other speed demon on the other side. There goes Elanga, but that's a really, really good challenge by Anthony there. And now then, here's Scott McTominay over on the right-hand side there for Manchester United. Gives the ball to Bruno Fernandes, the captain. And he drops it back to Lindelof, who gives it to the goalkeeper, Andre Onana, starting up from the back. We're going to get an update from Molyneux in just a few moments. But before we do that, we'll just see this Manchester United attack out. And here goes, chasing this one is Rashford, but good defending that time by Felipe. He drops it back to the goalkeeper. And let's go and take a update from Kieran at Molyneux.
Still 1-0 Wolves here at Molyneux, Paul. It's been a little bit of end-to-end football, but Brighton maintaining a little bit more of the possession. Brighton just with a free kick here, just outside the edge of the centre circle, but it's not looking like anyone's got any more attacking at the moment, Paul.
All right, thank you, Kieran. We'll be back with you in a little while to keep us updated on that. A long ball there was played forward while you were gone, looking for Anthony. But Anthony looks like he was shoved, and I think the official has in fact given a free kick. We have 10 minutes gone at the City Ground. FA Cup, FA Cup 5th round. The corner has in fact been given, and it's going to be Morgan Gibbs-White to take it. And we'll update you with the FA Cup draw in a moment as well, because that was done at about 7 o'clock this evening in the UK. It's going to be swung in here by Morgan Gibbs-White. Just standing over this one, and Felipe and Williams all on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's swung into the back post, but it is very, very disappointing and goes out of play. So if you just take a look at the bottom of your screen there, you'll see the quarter-final draw going up. Wolves or Brighton will play Coventry, and Nottingham Forest or Manchester United will play Liverpool or Southampton. Chelsea and Leeds will play Leicester City, with Manchester City left to take on Newcastle United at home. Ties to be played at the weekend of the 16th of March 2024. So that's your update on the quarter-final draw, in case you missed it today. Here's Victor Lindelof. Lindelof has got the ball midway inside his own half. And he gives it to Dalot, and Dalot just drops it back to the goalkeeper, Andre Onana. And he gives the ball to Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane plays it down the left-hand side here to Amrabat. Amrabat to Garnacho, back to Varane. Manchester United keeping the pressure on, keeping possession early on in this game. Ethan, that could be a heck of a tie in the quarterfinals, possibly Manchester United and Liverpool.
Yeah, that would be an absolutely huge tie. And of course, for Liverpool, it would come a week after playing Manchester City in the title race as well. So that could just add to the important games being played by Liverpool at the moment. But also, you're not going to underestimate the importance of the Manchester City-Newcastle tie. Both of them potential winners of this cup.
Absolutely, and it'd be a huge thing for Newcastle to win. Came so close to winning the League Cup last year. It's been a while since Newcastle have won anything major. Here's Morgan Gibbs-White. He drops the ball to Danilo. Danilo sends it back to Murillo. And he's just looking for options there. And he gives the ball down the right-hand side here to Nico Williams. Drops the ball back and to Harry Toffolo, is that? Not Felipe. Gives the ball back to the goalkeeper there. And Turner gives it to Danilo. And Danilo plays the ball forward to Harry Toffolo. Toffolo finds Morgan Gibbs-White. He's got some time in front of him now. It's Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White with a shot, but it's blocked. And it breaks loose very kindly here for Alejandro Garnacho. And Garnacho storming over the halfway line, down the left-hand side. Forest are finding it difficult to manage him, but it's a very, very good challenge. That time by Felipe. Stopped Garnacho in his tracks, and now Forest can come forward with Yates. Yates drops the ball back there to Williams, to Danilo. Danilo across there to Felipe. Felipe across to the left-hand side to Toffolo. Toffolo plays the ball forward and it's picked up by Alanga. Back to Toffolo and he gives the ball to Murillo. Murillo gives the ball to Felipe in the centre circle. And it's Yates again. Yates just goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who's had a somewhat troubling time at Forest since joining them. Come under some heavy criticism. Well, he's got a chance to really put his name up there with a good performance in this FA Cup tie today. Here's Morgan Gibbs-White. Drops the ball back into his own half and gives it to Ryan Yates. Yates just slips the ball there to Felipe. He's just looking for options. Manchester United will, of course, try to isolate Taiwo Awoniyi, as here comes Divock Origi now, trying to turn Amrabat inside out. And that's a good ball by Origi. And he finds Taiwo Awoniyi down the left. The cross comes in. And it comes back to Nico Williams. Nico Williams down the right-hand side. Back to Ryan Yates. And it's just dropped back there by Anthony Alanga as Forest move the ball back into the midfield. And it's Alanga again. Slips the ball forward there, looking for Divock Origi, but it breaks loose and goes all the way through to Andre Onana. Promising move there by Nottingham Forest, Ethan.
Yeah, indeed a promising move. And you just sense that when they're hitting on the counter, it's just the final bit that's missing for them, really, because that was a great bit of play from Origi to open up a chance as he comes forward again there.
Here's Divock Origi, plays the ball through here, and there's a chance for Awoniyi. He gets two shots. The first one is blocked by Victor Lindelof, and the second one goes into the side netting. But, well, that was really close opportunity, wasn't it? A man of Taiwo Awoniyi's ability maybe should have done a little better there.
Yes, I mean, his finishing ability is well known around the league. He's been one of Nottingham Forest's best players in the last couple of seasons, tucking chances away. Perhaps he should have done better, but it is a great block as well from Lindelof. But the build-up play from Origi as well cannot be underestimated there. Some nice stuff from Forest.
Well, it's corner for Nottingham Forest down the right-hand side. And you've got Divock Origi in there, Ryan Yates in there. Morgan Gibbs-White is going to take this one. It looks like Gibbs-White is going to outswing it. Morgan Gibbs-White got the winner in the league match at this stadium. Finished 2-1. Gibbs-White swings it in. It's headed up into the air by Varane. Garnacho can't head the ball away. It breaks loose for Anthony Alanga, but it's finally cleared away by Anthony, and it's picked up in the centre circle by Toffolo, who gives the ball to Danilo. Danilo just making his way down the left-hand side. He plays the ball forward there, and Awoniyi just chests the ball down there for Anthony Alanga, but that's a good interception by Scott McTominay, and now Manchester United are on their way down the left-hand side. Here's Scott McTominay again. This time he switches it to the right-hand side, but there is nobody there, and it's a comfortable header by Felipe, but he only heads it as far as Bruno Fernandes, who sends it back into his own half of the field to Rafael Varane. Well, we've had 16 minutes gone here. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0, and the closest we've come to a goal so far is the strike by Anthony, which struck the crossbar on the 8th minute. But here is Rafael Varane, and he plays the ball forward there to Garnacho. Garnacho down the left-hand side to Amrabat. Amrabat now makes his way into the middle and plays a really, really good ball over to the right-hand side. And it's Anthony. He drops it back there to Diogo Dalla. And here's Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes down the left-hand side again. Down the right-hand side again. And he gives the ball back to McTominay. McTominay pulls it back to Rashford, and he puts it over the crossbar. Well, Marcus Rashford will be disappointed with that effort, but that is another warning sign sent to the Nottingham Forest defence. As we look at this again, the ball was played through from Anthony to McTominay, edge of the penalty area, well, just inside the penalty area, really. And it was ballooned over the crossbar. What a chance.
Yes, what a chance indeed. And Rashford just leant back a little bit. You've seen problems with confidence this season for him. Maybe he should be thinking he can do better there. But the space for McTominay in that scenario is unbelievable. Forest need to tighten up marking him.
Oh, but here's a chance for it. He's nipped ahead of Varane. Oh, shot. Super save by Andre Onana. Oh, that was a Wanyi just nipped inside the defence. Really caught Rafael Varane napping there. Here's Danilo. He pulls it back to Morgan Gibbs-White, but Bruno Fernandes just tried to get in the way of that, but Forest keep possession. It's Murillo, plays it down the left-hand side, and Danilo now moving into the middle of the park. He plays a good ball down the right to Nico Williams. Williams now played there to Morgan Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White, the engine room of the midfield. We'll get an update from Kieran at Molinuex in just a few moments' time. Here is Danilo. Danilo plays the ball back to Felipe and back to Danilo. And just before we go to Molinuex, Ethan, what a chance for Taiwo Wanyi as well.
Yeah, he just nips in, grabs the ball off of the defenders. He's got the pace to get him behind. And really, I mean, it's a difficult finish from that angle. He did hit it powerfully. It didn't quite go in. It hasn't worked for him, but more chances will come. He just needs to start taking them, you've got to say.
Yes. Okay, so Morgan Gibbs-White plays the ball forward, and Gibbs-White again gets it back off Divock Origi. Back to Origi here now. Origi drops it back to Morgan Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White just plays it to Danilo, and back to Divock Origi, and back to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White plays the ball across there to Murillo. Good work there. He just had to move for that ball. Here's Toffolo down the left-hand side. Gives the ball to Anthony Elanga. Corner of the penalty area there. And here's Ryan Yates. Back to Toffolo. Can Toffolo get the ball in? Here's Elanga. Crosses it in, but there's nobody there. But coming in at the back is Nico Williams on the right-hand side. Inside the penalty area is Nico Williams. He gets across to the back post. And they go up in the air, and it's finally hacked away there by Bruno Fernandes. And United will get a second chance now as a kick in the head. A high challenge there by Morgan Gibbs-White on Rashford. And it'll be a free kick to Manchester United. Let's go to Molinuex. Kieran, what have you got for us?
Still 1-0 Wolves at the moment, but Wolves had a great chance to make it 2-0 from a free kick. Whipped into Santiago Bueno, but unfortunately off his right foot instead of his left, unable to smash it into the top corner. We had a little stoppage in play as Bonatti was on the floor after a little bit of a nasty challenge, but VAR had a quick look and obviously it was not deemed a red card offence. But Wolves have been all the attack in the past couple of minutes. We've got another chance here now, but that's well defended by Brighton. Still 1-0 here, 20 minutes played.
Thank you, Kieran. We'll be back to you in a little while as we just look again at the save by Andre Onana. Scores around the FA Cup right now. Chelsea 1, Leeds 1 at Stamford Bridge. Wolves are still leading Brighton, as you heard. Liverpool and Southampton are 6 minutes in. They're still 0-0. And, of course, we are still 0-0 with 20 minutes gone in this one as well. And here is Amrabat. Amrabat, he almost gave the ball away there. And coming up to make the challenge is Victor Lindelof, and what a vital challenge that was. And here's Nico Williams down the right-hand side. Williams is just being challenged by Bruno Fernandes, and again by Casemiro. It breaks loose to Garnacho, and Garnacho gives the ball to Fernandes. I'm looking for Rashford, but that is a good challenge by Felipe. And that stops Manchester United in their attack right away as Felipe protects the ball. Drops it back to Danilo, and it's played forward now, looking for a Wanyi. And under pressure is Victor Lindelof, but that's good work by him. And he gives the ball now to Sofiane Amrabat. And you can see both teams, Ethan, being very, very proactive in their approach to attacking. They're certainly not holding back, are they?
No, and they're exposing each other's fragilities in defence, which is interesting. Man United seem vulnerable to pace, and Forest, well, they're growing in confidence, but still gaps opening up in the midfield. It's going to be interesting to see who exploits the other one first. Forest, for me, look the more dangerous at the moment.
Well, they've certainly grown into the game, Nottingham Forest, as Morgan Gibbs-White now gives the ball to Anthony Elanga. He plays it down the left to Harry Toffolo. It's slipped back there to Ryan Yates. Yates gives the ball to Morgan Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White down the right-hand side to Divock Origi, who's been excellent in this first half. Divock Origi tries to get the cross in, but it's blocked by Sofian Amrabat, and it's going to be another corner for Nottingham Forest. Normal service has resumed at Stamford Bridge. It is Michaela Mudryk on 37 minutes has given the Blues the lead over Leeds United there. So Chelsea lead by 2-1. Michaela Mudryk is the goal scorer. Corner to be taken down the right here by Morgan Gibbs-White. Standing over this one now, looks like he's going to outswing it. Nottingham Forest looking for something from these set pieces. Danilo, Murillo, Origi, Williams, Awonyi, all in there, lurking with intent. It's going to be the outswinger here by Morgan Gibbs-White. Swings it out, and there's a header, goes up in the air and over the crossbar. And it looked like that may have come off Divock Origi last, or Murillo perhaps. But it goes over and behind at any rate. Let's take a look again. We'll just kind of nail it down who it was. Oh, yes, it's Murillo. And it goes over the crossbar, and it will be a goal kick. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. And Ethan, well, you've got to say, it's. I'm starting to think it's very, very much the way you're thinking. Forest growing into this game and are looking threatening going forward.
They're looking threatening, yeah. It's that pace, and Awoniyi, Origi and Elanga are causing some major problems for this United defence, and even from corners now, the deliveries are getting better from Gibbs-White. It seems like from every different possible avenue of attack, Forest are working more dangerous opportunities. United aren't on the ropes, but Forest really growing in confidence here.
Well, it's going to be a throw into Manchester United to be taken by Diogo Dalla. It's on the corner of the Forest penalty area down the right-hand side. It's dropped to Anthony, and the referee has signalled a foul by Anthony, along with the linesman on that far side. Anthony is protesting, probably claiming he is a victim, but he's not. It's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. It's actually a very, very full City ground this evening, and as we just look at the overhead camera onto the pitch, it is a very, very full stadium. 5th round, big night in the cup for both sides. Certainly, I think for Manchester United, who it's realistically, they're out of Europe. This is the best thing that they can hope to win this season. And here's Garnacho. Plays the ball forward. It's just nipped in by Danilo, and he drops it back to Felipe, who goes all the way to Matt Turner. And Matt Turner is going to clear this ball downfield. Doesn't get it very far, only as far as Nico Williams, who heads it on to Divock Origi, who drops it back to Ryan Yates. Ryan Yates plays a good ball forward there, and it's played forward by Toffolo to Elanga. Elanga in the penalty area. Elanga, and it's just cleared away by Victor Lindelof and out of play. And it's actually going to be a throw-in for Manchester United. Well, they need to watch the two down the flanks, Ethan, like Divock Origi and Anthony Elanga. They're both getting inside that Manchester United defence with ease.
Yes, well, Manchester United sending their fullbacks forward in Amrabat and Dalot, and it's creating a lot of space in behind them. I'm not sure if Ten Hag might change things tactically, but a lot of space being opened up, and at some point, a real chance of quality has to be work for Awoniyi down the middle, you think, or at least for one of the wingers. It's something that needs to be dealt with.
Yes, and it's now picked up by Divock Origi on the halfway line. He's quite comfortable going down the left-hand side, and Danilo has it now. And Bruno Fernandes has gone down complaining, and Chris Kavanagh's having nothing to do with that, but that is a poor ball. And now it sets Anthony off on his way. Anthony down the right-hand side, corner of the penalty area, Scott McTominay. And it's dropped back to Diogo Dalla, back to Anthony. Anthony just got Toffolo in front of him and Morgan Gibbs-White there as well. It's dropped back there to Raphael Varane. And the ball, to Victor Lindelof. And the ball is played to Amrabat, down to Raphael Varane. And now Garnacho down the left-hand side. Garnacho. Back to Fernandes. And back to Raphael Varane. Patient build-up by Manchester United. And Bruno Fernandes lifts the ball forward. He's looking for Scott McTominay. He's up there. And Casemiro now knocks a header down to Anthony. And here's Diogo Dalot. Back to Anthony down the right-hand side. With Dalot. Gives the ball to Anthony again. Anthony just moving the ball back into the middle of the park. He drops it back to Victor Lindelof. Lindelof across to Raphael Varane. Varane down the left and gives the ball to Garnacho. And Garnacho cuts into the middle. Good work for Garnacho. He's fouled by Divock Origi. And that is going to be a free kick in a very dangerous position. It's just left of centre. And maybe about 23 yards out, but no attempt to win the ball by Divock Origi there, Ethan. Possibly a yellow card should have been given there.
Possibly it's more of an attempt just to stop the man. Maybe that's the Forest tactic with certain players tonight, because Garnacho on his day can be dangerous. But I know what can also be dangerous is a certain Portuguese Manchester United captain who's now stood over this free kick ball. Yes,
it's a dangerous position. We're going to go back to Molinuex in just a few moments' time, but first we're going to see this free kick. And it's whipped in by Fernandes, but it's very disappointing. It goes all the way to Matt Turner. So I believe there's been a chance at Molinuex, and to whom has it gone to, Peter?
Chance came from Brighton there. That's the most dangerous they've looked the entire game. Caught Wolves off guard on a little bit of a back push. Well wrestled away. Ball fell to Moda, but he managed to square it all the way into Rosed. It was the best chance Brighton have had so far, but still 1-0. Nearly half an hour played.
All right, well, here comes Scott McTominay now for Manchester United. Thanks for that, Kieran. We'll be back with you in a little while. Here comes Divock Origi now. Divock Origi gets a shot away, but it's over the crossbar. Well, the ball was lost by McTominay there. And that gave Divock Origi the chance to run again at the United defence, as he's done in this first half. It's a really bad ball to Bruno Fernandes from McTominay. But Divock Origi here, it was a tough one to shoot from there. I think he might have been better pulling it into the penalty area, Ethan.
Yeah, he just gets under the shot a bit, and you can see the two men that were up with him, Gibbs-White and Awoniyi, asking why neither of them were played in. But it's another loose pass from United. They're really being a little bit complacent around the back. That was completely miles behind Bruno Fernandes from McTominay, and it's led to another Forest chance.
Ball is now played down the left-hand side to Garnacho, who's moving into the middle now. Plays the ball just back into his own half to Victor Lindelof. Lindelof just over the halfway line. He gives the ball to Scott McTominay. McTominay to Diogo Dalot, and he goes all the way back to the goalkeeper from inside the Forest half of the field. And he sprays the ball to Raphael Varane. Varane gives the ball there to Amrabat. Back to Amrabat, who's just immediately put under pressure there by Morgan Gibbs-White. He drops the ball to Raphael Varane. Varane just plays the ball to Bruno Fernandes down this left-hand side. Fernandes plays the ball to Rashford, and Rashford drops the ball back to Varane, who gives it to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes, long ball over there, and it's, it was left by Toffolo, and that was kind of dangerous because that ball went all the way out onto the far side, and it could have been picked up. As we take a look there at Alex Ferguson, one of the great Manchester United managers, the great Manchester United manager, won 5 FA Cups as a manager at Manchester United, and of course his first one began right here at the City Ground with a 1-0 victory from Mark Robbins' header back in 1990. Here's McTominay, flips the ball to Danilo, and Danilo launches the ball forward now. And up in the air there goes Divock Origi, and Amrabat didn't challenge it. It's gone back to the goalkeeper Onana, who's just trying to get away there, trying to get the ball away there. And Divock Origi was closing in, and well, that's dangerous play there from Onana. Here's Danilo again. I'll get Ethan's thoughts on that in a moment. We'll just wait and see. Yes, Ethan. Well, Onana living dangerously.
Well, you can't fault his confidence, that's for sure. But he was under a lot of pressure there, and Origi, not a man you want to be under pressure from. Just ask Jordan Pickford in a Merseyside derby a few years ago. They were very interesting, living dangerously. The Manchester United lot there, quite lucky not to be 1-0 down.
Yes, it's as it stands though, United get away with that one, and Scott McTominay just drops it back to Diogo Dalla, and Dalla to Anthony. Anthony just trying to turn away from Harry Toffolo. Harry Toffolo stalking Anthony, but he gets away, does the Brazilian, and Anthony plays a beautiful ball down this left-hand side to Garnacho. Garnacho cuts into the middle, pulled back there to Bruno Fernandes, to Anthony. Dallo tries to turn. Oh, he's getting away. Dallo now down the right. Can he get the cross in? And there's a head and a super save from Matt Turner from the head of Scott McTominay. A wonderful save. And that will do Matt Turner's confidence no harm whatsoever, Ethan.
No, it's a great reaction save from the American stopper. McTominay again getting a free header in the box, and it's a great reaction stop at his near post from Turner to keep Nottingham Forest level in this game. And as you say, his confidence, well, that'll do it the world of good should this one go the distance.
Yes, well, that's true. That's true. If it is tied, we do have extra time and penalties potentially. That's a bicycle kick there by Scott McTominay. Tries a spectacular, but it goes over the crossbar. And, yes, thank you for reminding me, Ethan. We could possibly have extra time and the rest tonight. As replays are done at this particular point of the competition. Ethan, I remember the days where if you went to a replay, it would go to extra time, but then you go to another replay. I remember a lot of years back in 1991, Everton and Liverpool, I think, went to 4 replays in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how that wouldn't work in the modern game, especially with all these top teams competing on multiple fronts in Europe and domestically, and I'm not sure either of these teams would even want 1 replay, let alone 4.
And that's a good dummy by Anthony there. He just ducks his head, and here goes McTominay. It creates some space for the Scottish international. McTominay gets the cross into Garnacho. He brings it down on the left-hand side in the penalty area. Garnacho whips it in. It's only headed away by Murillo to Anthony, and it's back with Garnacho now. Oh, his pass to Sofiane Amrabat was poor. It goes out of play for a throw-in down by the corner flag for Nottingham Forest. But that was a really good football by Manchester United.
Yeah, well, again, they're just holding on to possession. It's not leading to as much. Obviously, we have had chances from McTominay. That's just disappointing from Garnacho, and maybe that's a lack of sharpness because not a lot's come down this left-hand side for them. But things just need to click a little bit better for them. But possession, certainly, they're having most of it at the moment.
Well, it's half-time at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are leading at half-time by 2-1. Sofiane Amrabat now with a throw, and the ball goes out of play again. Nottingham Forest are claiming it. So are Manchester United. Rashford believes it is a Manchester United throw. I think it's been awarded the other way. Indeed, it has. And the throw-in will be taken by Nico Williams for Wales, midway inside the Forest half of the field. Just taking his time at the moment. There's very little point in wasting time at this stage. It's, to be honest with you, I mean, on the referee now, Chris Kavanagh is going over to deal with something. I think he's going over to speak to, he's speaking to Eric Ten Hag over something that he may have said to the 4th official, David Webb, but we'll see. It's just a ticking off by Chris Kavanagh, no further action, but Ten Hag is still complaining and then gives... did you see the look he gave David Webb there, Ethan?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a happy bunny, Eric Ten Hag, at the moment. United complaining. He's clearly the loudest voice of them all.
Here comes a 1-year. That's a good challenge by Casemiro, but the ball breaks loose to Danilo. And Danilo plays the ball down the left-hand side looking for Harry Toffolo, but that is got a bit too much pace on it and goes out of play for a throw-in. And Manchester United will take the throw-in here, and I think it's going to be Diogo Dalla that takes it down that right-hand side. As Rashford just trying to make himself available for this throw-in. Dalla stealing 1 or 2 yards. And I say 1 or 2, more like 4 or 5. And the ball is flicked on, and Murillo just gets in there and pulls it back to the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who launches the ball back downfield into the United half, but it goes over everybody's head and goes out of play. The game has just gotten scrappy in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, Ethan.
Yeah, it's got a little bit, well, passes just not really connecting for either side, and that was actually working out for Forest initially, but unfortunately they've also succumbed to it now as a problem, and you just sense, ticking down into half-time, that both sides would probably take going in level at this point.
And we'll just go over to Molyneux, because I believe there's been a VAR review for a penalty, Kieran.
Yes, Paul, there was a potential penalty against Max Kilman for a handball, but looking at the multiple replays, and VAR deemed the same. His arm was in a natural position, so luckily we've escaped a penalty there. Obviously, it does clearly hit his arm, but it is in that natural position to be able to not deem it a penalty. Wolves getting a lucky scapegoat there. Still 1-0, nearly 36 minutes played.
Thanks very much, Kieran. Back here at the City Ground. And there is Harry Toffolo, and he has committed a foul. It's a free kick to Manchester United. It's Nuno Espirito Santo talking about Wolves. He's a former Wolves manager. He's now trying to replicate what he did with Wolves at Nottingham Forest. We know for sure that Molinuex, the owner of Nottingham Forest, is looking for a top 10 position. So far, Forest seem a long way off that at the moment. Here is Rafael Varane. Rafael Varane just going back into his own half. He drops it back there to Andre Onana. And the ball is given to Victor Lindelof. Lindelof here plays the ball over the halfway line, and it's now with Rashford. Rashford gives the ball to Scott McTominay, down to Anthony down the right-hand side. Here's Rashford, clashes in the penalty area with Murillo, but no question. He's complaining, but no question of a penalty there, Ethan.
No, not for me. It would have been an incredibly soft one had it been given. You've got to ask the question of the referee, though, in that scenario, both Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, but I think they knew they weren't going to come away with anything from that, and Forest indeed get the goal kick to restart the action.
Well, here is Williams, and he plays the ball forward. It's brought down by a Wanyi to Gibbs-White. That's a good challenge by Casemiro, as he is having to battle with Morgan Gibbs-White in the middle of the park. And it's now with Nico Williams down the right-hand side. He stays inside his own half of the field, and in the end goes all the way back to Felipe. Felipe just dropping the ball back to the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who's going to clear that ball over the halfway line. A Wanyi battling there, and Morgan Gibbs-White flicks it on, and Anthony Elanga is on his way, but there is an offside. And, well, just for a moment there, I thought Anthony Elanga was away. Once he sets off, there's going to be no catching him.
No, that's true. He's got an incredible amount of pace to an ex-United player, of course, himself, and he would have been on one-on-one there. Interesting to see they didn't allow play on. I'm not sure if that would have obviously gone in, but most of the time at the moment you see people allow the passage of play to finish before calling back for the decision. That was an instant decision there from the line.
And the ball is played forward by Murillo there, but Diogo Dalot picks up on that loose ball and plays the ball off Toffolo and out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United down that right-hand side. From their perspective, as Marcus Rashford has had a couple of chances in this first half, hasn't really done anything with them, and we're going to go back to Molyneux, I think. Yes, Kieran, another chance.
Yeah, great chance for Wolves there. Unfortunately, just ruled offside. McDoherty about an inch and a half offside there. But it was a beautiful play down the wing by Aït-Nouri, straight towards McDoherty, and then crossed in towards Hang, but very well defended by Dunk. But unfortunately, it was offside if it had gone in. Still 1-0 here, just under 40 minutes played.
Cheers, Kieran. And the ball is back with Sofiane Amrabat. And Amrabat plays the ball forward to Rashford. Rashford, cross there to Fernandes. And now McTominay with a shot, but that's blocked by Murillo. Good work by him. It breaks loose to Diogo Dalot, though, and he goes all the way back into his own half, as Manchester United want to build again from the back to try to find a way through this Nottingham Forest defence. They've had one or two chances in this first half, but they haven't taken them, as Nottingham Forest have had their fair share of opportunities as well. Marcus Rashford plays the ball over to the right-hand side there to Anthony. Anthony's got Elanga in front of him, and he drops the ball back to Diogo Dalot. Back to Anthony, just trying to now skip away from his shadow, Harry Toffolo. Toffolo wins the ball back. Good work by him. And he plays the ball to Gibbs-White. And now Forest, if they hurry up, it's 3-on-4. Here's Taiwo Awonyi in the penalty area, left-hand side. Alanga pulls the ball back. Oh, he's maybe taken too long. He plays the ball to Nico Williams. Cross to the right-hand side of the penalty area. Williams with a strike. And it just clears the crossbar, but not a million miles away at all. Ethan, good break by Forest.
Yeah, it was a really rapid break from Forest. That pace, as we've been saying all night, causing more issues. You wonder if Alanga probably could have been a bit quicker with that. He was stopped in his tracks by Lindelof, but still found the ball across to Nico Williams, and just a little bit too high and glancing from the former Liverpool man, but a danger to Manchester United. It's a warning of what Forest can do.
Yes, they've been so dangerous. Alanga and Divock Origi down the flanks. Here's Sofyan Amrabat now down the left-hand side for Manchester United. It's the ball is with Garnacho, and he just tries to skip away there from Felipe. He goes down. The referee says no, and now Morgan Gibbs-White's on his way, and he's got in front of him Victor Lindelof. The ball is played across by Gibbs-White to Anthony Alanga. He's got Taiwo Awonyi with him on the edge of the area. Here's Awonyi, but he puts it high, wide, and not so handsome. Another break by Nottingham Forest, and it's another chance that's ballooned over the crossbar, Ethan.
Yeah, another one ballooned over the crossbar. Awoniyi sent that one potentially even out of the City ground. It's a disappointing finish, but Forest really need to start making Manchester United pay for these. That's two in quick succession, and really they're utterly wasted. Alanga not totally to blame for this one this time, but he did eventually obviously find Awoniyi, but the finish is just poor. Great work though from the likes of Gibbs-White and Alanga to work another opportunity.
Yes, well, you see, I think as well, with these chances that Manchester United are giving up, and if Forest don't take them, they've had 12 attempts to 6 of Manchester United, they're going to get punished, because defensively Forest have been pretty frail themselves. As here is Bruno Fernandes. He drops the ball back to Diogo Dalot. Back to Fernandes inside the centre circle. He's got options for left and right. He plays the ball forward to Rashford and then gets the ball back off Casemiro. Fernandes gives the ball to McTominay. Down to Anthony, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Here's Rashford. Back to Anthony. Just by the touchline now, Anthony pulls it back to Fernandes. Can he get the shot away? He can. It was blocked. But nobody really closed Fernandes down there, and he had some time. And here goes Anthony Alanga. He plays the ball forward. The referee's going to play an advantage here as it's played long by Gibbs-White down the right to Divock Origi. He's got some space to run now, the Belgian. Divock Origi gets into the penalty area, gives the ball to Williams. Williams pulls it across and it's blocked. And now Garnacho can come forward for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes gives the ball across to Scott McTominay. McTominay down the right to Anthony, as it's now all of a sudden end-to-end stuff here at the City Ground. Anthony trying to get away from Harry Toffolo. He drops the ball back to Fernandes, and he gives the ball to Casemiro. Casemiro down the right, down the left to Garnacho. We've got a minute left at the end of this first half. At half-time, we'll get a half-time assessment from Molyneux before we go on a break. Here is Casemiro now, edge of the penalty area. Casemiro with a shot. But it just goes wide, and not too far away. But once again, a chance for Manchester United, Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, what a spectacle we're getting at the end of this first half, Paul. I mean, both sides chances galore. They should be taking them, and I think they'll both be kind of gutted now. I said they'd be looking to tick down the first half and go in at 0-0. They'll both be gutted. They're not actually ahead at this point, I think.
Yes, both sides have had a hatful of chances, and we really have been entertained as we look at Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, certainly looking to get his side in the top 10. We've got another comment in the comment section. Media, radio, jingles and gaming. Good evening, Paul and Ethan. Good performance from Forest, I agree. I think they really have performed very well in this first half, just perhaps lacked a little bit in defence and in the finishing. But generally, Forest have built up and played very, very well, and you have to say Nuno will be pleased with this performance at half-time on the whole, Ethan.
Yes, he will. I mean, they frustrated United well and hit really well on the counter. They are the underdogs at the end of the day, even though they are at home. So to still be at 0-0 at half-time, I think he'll take that, and they'll hope to work some more chances in the second half. All
right, well, we are half-time now at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United nil, but not for one for trying. We've had chances and neither side have taken them. The closest we've come is when Anthony hit the crossbar on 8 minutes. But at half-time at the City Ground, it is Nottingham Forest nil, Manchester United nil. Let's go over to Molyneux and Kieran will take us to half-time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've got 4 minutes added on, of which we've played a minute, currently with a goal kick from Jose Sarr. We did have a little bit of stoppage. Mario Lemina was down for quite some time, looked like an injury to his calf, but he is back on the pitch and is running quite well here. The ball with Hwang down on the right-hand side. Hwang goes down looking for the foul, but there's no foul there. Brighton then pick it up in their box. They've got Doherty running towards him. Cleared away down to left-hand side. Still with Brighton now, pushing forwards. Intercepted by Gomez, picked up by Ait-Nouri. Brings it forward to Bellegarde. Bellegarde still with the ball now, run down the left-hand side. Here's a chance for Wolves to make it 2. Crossed in. Lemina with a little bit of attempt at a scorpion kick there, but just pushes it wide. As we approach now 47 minutes played at Molyneux. Still 1-0. This is the next best chance. It's been all Wolves the past 5 minutes. There's a great little chance for Bellegarde. Flicked in, all the way across. Mario Lemina trying to go for that scorpion kick. Just misjudges it with his right foot and goes wide out for a Brighton goal kick. We've still got 2 minutes left to play here till half-time. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you. All right, well, we're going to take a break for half-time. We'll be back for the start of the second half. Before we do, let's just give you some scores. Chelsea 2, Leeds 1 is a half-time score. You, of course, know the score here. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 0. Wolves are still 1-0 up, as Kieran said. Liverpool 0, Southampton 0 with 34 minutes gone there. So we will be back in 15 minutes for the start of the second half. We'll see you then. Well, the players are back out for the second half now, and we're about to get the second half underway with Forest attacking the Trent end in the second half. That is the goal to our left. No changes from either side at half-time. Ethan, where do you see the second half going?
Well, if Nottingham Forest can continue to grow in confidence, I could see them being in the ascendancy in the second half. It's interesting no changes have been made because I think Man United did look a little bit fragile on the counter, but maybe they're hoping their possession can lead to more as this second half gets underway. But Forest, if they can keep it at this score and certainly start to build on the counter-attack, well, they'll start to gain confidence in the second half.
It's picked up by Toffolo here, and he gives it to Danilo. Danilo gives it to Morgan Gibbs-White. And Gibbs-White just drops it back to Murillo. Murillo goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who's been pretty steady in the first half. He plays the ball out to the right-hand side, and it's found by Divock Origi. Divock Origi's ball is a poor one. He only finds Casemiro. Casemiro now plays the ball to Scott McTominay, and McTominay drops it back to Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane gives the ball there to Safian Amrabat, and here's Garnacho, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side, but the pass there back to McTominay was a disappointing one. and it goes behind for a goal kick. And well, he's put a couple of passes out in this second half. In this game. We know how much of a talent Garnacho is, Ethan, but he really has put a number of passes today very, very inaccurately.
Yeah, he just doesn't really seem on it. I mean, it's a thing throughout the whole Manchester United team so far that they're misplacing passes, but he has been probably the worst culprit. We saw a couple towards the end of the first half, and he doesn't seem to have been invigorated by a break. United fans will hope he can get into this one, but it's not looking too likely so far.
Well, here's Rashford. He plays the ball looking for Dalot, but just cutting across and making the challenge there is Toffolo. He gives it right back to the goalkeeper, Turner. Turner clears it downfield and only finds Casemiro, who heads the ball to McTominay. McTominay poorly controls it, and Danilo gives the ball now to Elanga. Elanga cuts into the penalty area, left-hand side. Elanga just being shielded wide here by Anthony, and he runs the ball wide. That's actually good defending by Anthony there, just shielding Elanga and forcing him to put the ball behind. And you can see it here. He kind of gives him a bit of a shove. Well done for Elanga for not going down, but a little bit of muscle just puts Elanga off there, even.
Yeah, Elanga just not quite expecting that perhaps from Anthony, and it is good defence in the end. And as you say, you gotta give props to Elanga there for not actually trying to buy a penalty and go down. It's good play from both sides, really. Elanga just couldn't quite keep it in as well, but Forest. Well, they could have had a penalty there, perhaps, but Elanga being too honest.
Well, we're going to go to Kieran for some updates on the Wolves game in a few minutes' time. But what I can tell you is that Leeds United have equalised at Stamford Bridge. It's 2-2 now there. The goal scorer is, for his second goal, is the 20-year-old Mateo Joseph. So 2-2 for Leeds at the moment at Stamford Bridge, as here's Nico Williams is dispossessed in the centre circle by McTominay, who indeed gives the ball away, though, to Felipe. Felipe just trying to get away there from Bruno Fernandes, but no such luck. And the ball goes forward now to Marcus Rashford, who lays it off to Garnacho. Corner of the penalty area, left-hand side, but Garnacho loses it there to Felipe, and now Nico Williams has the ball. And Forest coming forward with Ryan Yates. That's a great ball by Ryan Yates to Divock Origi. And Origi sets off a Wanyi on the way. A Wanyi with a shot. That's a super save. And that is a blazing counter-attack by Nottingham Forest as Divock Origi and a Wanyi team up there to create a chance and force a good save from Onana, even.
Yeah, it's a really important save from Andre Onana, because that's probably the best chance that's been worked for Awoniyi so far, and it's not even the worst of finishes, but Onana just dives low, gets there, and manages to keep the ball out. A really, really dangerous counter-attack again from Forest, chance after chance. The problem that they'll have now is that they only have themselves to blame, that they're not ahead, and frustration might start to grow, because that could easily have been 1-0.
Here's Gibbs-White down the right-hand side. Gibbs-White gets the cross in, and Dalot just knocks it behind for a corner, as Manchester United are under pressure here by Nottingham Forest. It's possession football by the Reds in the Manchester United half. What can Manchester United do about it? But first they have to face a corner, and it's going to be Anthony Elanga down the left, is it? No, Anthony Elanga moves away. It's going to be Morgan Gibbs-White that's going to take this. And they've already loaded up the penalty area. Awoniyi, Felipe, Origi, Yates are all in there, lurking with intent, as Forest turning the screws on this Manchester United defence. Morgan Gibbs-White, is he going to go for a short one? He's thinking about it. Instead, he decides he's going to go for the ball into the penalty area. That's going to be a bit of an in-swinger. Morgan Gibbs-White launches it in, and Onana with a fist and gets some good distance on that punch. But it's picked up by Gibbs-White down the left-hand side. He tries to swing the ball in, but it's blocked by Bruno Fernandes. Good work by him. And it's then picked up by Nico Williams, who plays the ball back to the goalkeeper. And Ethan, Nottingham Forest looking real good in this first half.
Yeah, they really seem on it. Perhaps Nuno's had a word with them, because they've lasted the first half. In the second could be where they really push. Of course, this is important as a home tie for them. It's probably the best chance they'll get, even though United are a difficult draw, and especially with the way United have been playing so far. And you can sense that they smell blood here, Nottingham Forest.
Well, here's Nico Williams, and he gives the ball to Divock Origi. just trying to cut away. That's good work by Origi. He drops the ball back to Williams down that right-hand side. He's got two Manchester United players around him, Amrabat and Casemiro. It's now back with Divock Origi again. This is good work by Divock Origi. He gets in the penalty area. Can he get the shot away, Origi? Oh, and I think that's a good save by Onana. Not sure if it hit the post, but I think it was Onana actually. But still now, Nico Williams down the right. And he gives the ball back to Ryan Yates as Forest continue to put the pressure on Manchester United. What a performance this is by the Reds. And it's dropped back there now to Murillo in the centre circle. Kieran, hold tight. We will get to you in just a moment. Here's Harry Toffolo. He plays it off Diogo Dalot. It's going to be a throw-in. And it's right near in the Manchester United penalty area. And that's a good challenge by Anthony. And let's go over to Molyneux. Kieran, there's been an early substitution in the second half, I believe.
Yeah, so second half is underway at Molyneux. We're now 47 minutes in. There was a Brighton sub. Danny Welbeck comes on for Pupion. Not sure if he was injured at the half-time break. I'll get some details on that if I can. But it's been all Brighton the start of this second half. They've had a couple of good chances, but Jose Sarr's been there as the wall that he is. So we are at 47 minutes played. It's still Wolves 1, Brighton 0, but still a long way to go.
Thanks very much, Kieran. So we are back underway here with the free kick to be taken by Murillo. And is that being kept in play by Toffolo? The referee says no. As the official down this near side waves a flag, it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester United. Ethan, was Manchester United really expecting this type of start in the second half, do you think, from Forest?
No, I don't think they were at all, and I think they'll be a little bit shell-shocked. If it wasn't for Andre Onana in that Manchester United goal, I mean, it could be 2 or 3 down. Nottingham Forest have worked so many chances, and they're looking really dangerous. And United's defence is just looking utterly fragile, which is not what you'd expect to say about the likes of Varane, Lindelof, Casemiro. But Nottingham Forest have really come out in the second half with a lot of intent, but they have to make this period of dominance pay. They've got to score at some point soon, otherwise it will all be wasted.
Well, there's been 13 attempts on goal by Nottingham Forest, 9 for Manchester United. So it's safe to say that it kind of validates your theory, Ethan, that Nottingham Forest are certainly beginning to take full control over this game now. And the only thing that they haven't done yet is put the ball in the back of the net. As here's Raphael Varane. Varane slips the ball there to Victor Lindelof. He gives the ball to Casemiro, who's been quiet in this game. Casemiro just plays the ball there to Anthony down the right. He plays it in the middle to Sofian Amrabat, who goes all the way to the left-hand side to Alejandro Garnacho. And he drops it back there to Varane, and Varane forward to Bruno Fernandes, and Fernandes just gives the ball away, but he's alleged to have been fouled. Fernandes is getting upset and angry because he's been fouled. And it's going to be a free kick, and he wants to watch what he's saying, Bruno Fernandes. It's going to end up in the referee's bad books. It was certainly a foul, but let's not make more of it than we need to. Free kick to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes standing over this one, and it's just inside the Forest half of the field, outside of the centre circles. It's launched in by Bruno Fernandes. And the header is by Raphael Varane, but he puts it just wide. And it's going to be a goal kick. So far, no changes by either side. Looking at Forest right now, knowing that they've not taken these chances, where do you see the substitutes coming from for Nottingham Forest that may change things a little bit?
Well, I'm not sure it's going to change things, but you have got Callum Hudson-Odoi on the bench who can do more of the same if any of the front line do start to tire. But apart from that, most of their big guns are already on the pitch, which is why they've got to be taking these chances. Origi and Awani in particular are the people you're looking to finish these chances. Elanga, of course, with his pace, also a danger. Manchester United, on the other hand, of course, have some options to bring off of the bench, but both of these sides have started with quite strong teams, which is why the pressure needs to pay in the next few minutes, especially for Nottingham Forest here. United, if they survive this, they'll be very happy with that.
All right, well, we just got to look there at the referee analyst. It's the only one in the country for any team It's Mark Clattenburg, the former Premier League referee, who was, of course, probably the best England had at the time. And he has been hired by Nottingham Forest as a referee analyst. And here is a cross coming in from Morgan Gibbs-White. And almost on the end of that was Taiwo Awoniyi. He was just trying to get a touch on that, and he thinks it's come off a Manchester United player for a corner, but indeed it has not. It's going to be a goal kick. But what do you think about that, Ethan? A referee analyst hired by Nottingham Forest. Waste of money or possibly a good investment?
I think possibly a good investment. The way decisions are going at the moment, obviously VAR is still a controversial topic in football. Getting a better understanding of the game can't hurt. I remember with a similar thing when Liverpool brought in a throw-in coach as well, and everybody mocked that, and that actually went on to help them in terms of set pieces. So a referee analyst could be a good idea for Nottingham Forest, but only if their discipline starts to pick up and decisions start to go their way. If not, you do have to start wondering about the money that's being spent on that. Well,
the ball's played forward now to Anthony, and he just trots back, gives the ball back to Diogo Dalot, who goes back to Andre Onana, as Manchester United just comfortable building from the back. I think for the moment, Manchester United, when they're creating, a lot of what they're creating seems to be being broken down in this second half. Here's Scott McTominay. He goes down the left-hand side, and over there is Bruno Fernandes. There's a quick 1-2 with Scott McTominay, and it's now Casemiro. Casemiro plays the ball to Anthony. Anthony with a shot, but it's right down the middle. And that's really the first effort in anger on goal in the second half, Ethan. Good build-up by Manchester United. They need more of that just to keep it simple and try to create the opportunities. What say you?
Yes, indeed. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to keep it simple and start working opportunities in the defence as they come forward here. Sorry.
And here comes Marcus Rashford into the penalty area. He's challenged between two Forest players. He's sandwiched. He's claiming he's kicking away there. I'm not sure there was much in that. I'd like to see that one again, if you don't mind. I'm going to comment on that in a moment. Here's Ryan Yates. He's going down the right-hand side, and it's won back by Bruno Fernandes. But a couple of chances there for Manchester United, and it's now down the left-hand side with Garnacho. Garnacho drops the ball back to Sofian Amrabat. Amrabat gives the ball to Casemiro, and Casemiro puts the ball out of play. Ethan, what do you think? Penalty or no penalty?
I think it looks clumsy from a Nottingham Forest defensive point of view. You can see why Rashford will claim it, but again, I think that's just a bit of a soft one. I think he's been muscled out of the ball. He's lost it, and he's gone down in frustration. I'm not too sure there's all that much in that as we see the replays here. I think it would certainly have been a harsh penalty, but that's one that Nottingham Forest can ask Mark Clattenburg about. It's a good thing he's in the stands today, isn't it?
Yes, I say that's right. They can certainly discuss that. Looking at this, and he cuts across, and yes, it just seems to me he's just muscled out of the play there, doesn't it? Especially when you look at it from that angle. And when I looked at it in real time, I wasn't convinced. But he's now receiving some treatment, and he's down at the moment. And I should probably do my marketing duties now. You're listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. And Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports, Focus on Football, and Storm FM. And don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. And Ethan, it is incumbent upon you to pick our Player of the Match today.
Well, that should be interesting. I've got a few names potentially in mind, but they are wearing red tonight. I can tease you that one.
Okay, well, we'll see how. You've got a lot of time to decide. We're only approaching the hour mark here, so as we look at the Manchester United bench, there is not much going on there. Why don't we nip over to Molinuex actually and get an update from Kieran?
Yes, thank you, Paul. It's been all, again, like I say, it's been all bright in the start of this second half. We're just making Wolves are just currently making two substitutions. Hwang went down quite injured just before this sub went on. He was holding the back of his thigh, but he's up and walking now, thank God for that. But Neto comes in replacement of Hwang, and we've also got Mario Lemina being replaced by Pablo Sarabia. Pablo Sarabia, obviously the guy that got us the lovely goal against Sheffield United on the weekend. So we've made two subs there. Hwang with a query injury, and Lemina, I think, possibly with an injury as well that he picked up earlier in the game. Still 1-0 here, 56 minutes played, Paul.
All right, thanks very much, Kieran. And the game is back underway now. The ball is with Victor Lindelof, and he gives the ball to Raphael Varane. Varane drops it to Amrabat, and Amrabat gives the ball back to Varane. Amrabat just taking his time as Manchester United don't feel at all in the need to hustle. They're quite happy just to keep possession of the ball, and perhaps that's a good idea to try to take the sting at the moment out of this start to the second half by Nottingham Forest. The ball is long, and it's won by Nico Williams. And Williams just trying to get away from Bruno Fernandes as Fernandes fouls him. And he looks frustrated with that decision, Ethan, but no question that was a foul.
No question that was a foul, and indeed Bruno Fernandes seems frustrated with every decision that's ever made against him. But we will see how Forest do, because it does sort of look like the momentum's starting to swing away from them here, and that's just a telltale sign of it. They're just trying to break out from their own defence rather than break down Manchester United's.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, because the two chances that Manchester United have had, it has slowed Nottingham Forest down. They are keen, I think, Manchester United, on keeping possession. Obviously, you can't get hurt when you've got possession of the ball, and they've got Nottingham Forest chasing the game, and it makes it hard then for Nottingham Forest to maintain the momentum. And here is Scott McTominay now, midway inside his own half of the field. Manchester United breaking quickly down the right now with Diogo Dalla. He's got Toffolo in front of him, Dalla. Dalla pulls the ball back to Anthony. Anthony gives it to Fernandes, back to Anthony. Fernandes, edge of the penalty area. Is he going to get the shot away? He goes outside of the boot, and it just curls away from the goal. But that is a beautiful effort by Bruno Fernandes. And yes, we talk about Bruno Fernandes rolling around on the floor, crying for a free kick, moaning and whining. But he's a genuinely talented player, isn't he? And that really was a decent attempt.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. He has no right to shoot from there on the trivela on his right foot. It's really close from him, and he is a very talented player. Manchester United fans, I know, love him because he is one of the best players at the club, and he can pull things like that out the draw. If they'd have gone ahead with that goal, you'd be talking about a real moment of magic from the Portuguese.
Here's Garnacho now down the left. Garnacho trying to feed Bruno Fernandes, but that's good defending by Felipe, just shielding that ball out of play. As Fernandes looking pretty frustrated at the moment. Eric Ten Hag, I just wonder what's going through his mind. What options do you think? He's got a lot of youngsters on the bench. Ethan. What do you think his options are, at least in an attacking sense?
Well, he has got Christian Eriksen, although that's more of a central midfield option. In attack, I mean, he's got Amad Diallo, who's an exciting young winger we've seen on loan at Sunderland in previous years, but it is starting to look a little bit thin. I mean, I'm not really sure what position he plays, but he's even called up an under-18 tonight in Oguneye, who could make a first senior appearance for Manchester United. So not the best options to call upon, and you'd think if he wants the job done, it needs to be done soon by the players that have started this match. Yeah,
I would agree with that. We're going to go over to Molyneux in a moment to hear about a chance there, but just going to see this attack out by Manchester United. The ball is flicked forward to Scott McTominay from Anthony, but going down and picking up that ball comfortably is Matt Turner. Got a comment in the comment section. Media, radio, and jingles and gaming. This has to be one of Forest's best performances. You'd agree with that, Ethan? I think it has been this season, hasn't it?
Oh, certainly. I mean, to be able to contain Manchester United like this and actually cause them a threat on the counter-attack, it's been a really solid performance. They need to pick up perhaps more form like this in the Premier League. I know we know they've got their points deduction coming their way, but if they're to stay in the Premier League, they need to play like this in the league as well. But a nice run in the cup wouldn't do them harm, and they've got a chance based off of this fantastic performance.
All right, well, we've got Anthony with the ball here now, but that's just fumbled out of play there by Toffolo. Let's go over to Molyneux. And Kieran, you want to tell us about that chance there?
Oh, Wolves was an absolutely fantastic chance. Should have been 2-0, but Neto just fumbled the ball. Fantastic pick out of pass by Kilman. Neto surrounded by Brighton players, but managed to take it from our penalty area all the way to Brighton's penalty area on his own. Unfortunately, fumbled the shot, no power behind it, but very, very quickly, the Brighton's defensive Igor was there to block the shot. Still 1-0 here with 60 minutes played.
Well, here's Garnacho. It's pulled back to Fernandez with a shot, but it takes a deflection and goes just behind. So you rejoin us just as Garnacho was in the penalty area. He pulled it back to Fernandez. The shot took a deflection. I'm just trying to see who it came off. It might have come off one of his own players. Indeed, it did, Scott McTominay. But that could have gone the other side of the post as well, Ethan, and could have been 1-0 to United.
It could have, and I think the ironic thing is that if McTominay doesn't get a touch on that, it's probably going in from Fernandez. I mean, it was a well-placed finish in the first place, but I think that just sums up their luck and their performance tonight, because McTominay's just accidentally in the way, perhaps he's trying to be clever with a flick and it goes past the post. And Nottingham Forest have gotten away with one a bit there, but it remains 0-0.
And here is Anthony Elanga. Gives the ball to Gibbs White and plays it into the centre of the field to the number 22 there for Nottingham Forest, Ryan Yates. He's the captain, of course. And here's Divock Origi, gives it back to Ryan Yates. And Yates gives it back to Origi. As Forest just looking for more ways that they can break down this Manchester United defence. Remember, if the game is still deadlocked at full time, we go into extra time. The ball is played long by Murillo, but it goes through to Onana. And then if it is still deadlocked after extra time, then we get a penalty shootout. And here's Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes plays the ball down the right-hand side to Diogo Dalot. He's got some space in front of him, Dalot. And he just drops the ball back there to Victor Lindelof. As Manchester United seem quite comfortable at the moment, just knocking the ball around here is Anthony. That's a poor pass by Anthony, and that move breaks down. And now Ryan Yates gives the ball forward to Divock Origi. And Forest can break in numbers now if they hurry. Divock Origi coming forward. He's got options left and right. He plays the ball through to Taiwo Awoniyi. Awoniyi in the penalty area, right-hand side. And finally the flag goes up on the far side. And then Taiwo Awoniyi has slipped into an offside position. As we look at this again, and it's tight, but I think he may have been offside there, Ethan.
I think it's just the way he's leaning to try and get an extra yard there that really puts him off. I personally probably would have liked to have seen that one play out if he'd have taken a shot or passed it on, but the move had kind of come to an end. You can understand why the flag's gone up. And Taiwo Awoniyi, unfortunately, offside. Well,
do you remember the days when we were told that the strikers would get the benefit of the doubt? Those days are gone, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a couple of times tonight where the play hasn't been allowed to continue, particularly on counter-attacks, and just starting to wonder whether or not the rule's changing. Again, keep mentioning it, Mark Clattenburg's in the stands, I'm sure he'd be able to tell us.
Well, here's Scott McTominay. He gives the ball to Anthony, and Anthony gives it to Garnacho down the right-hand side. Garnacho seems to have switched sides. Gives the ball to Dalot, dances into the penalty area, but a fine challenge by Murillo. And Manchester United, Nottingham Forest trying to come away with the ball with Ryan Yates, but he's fouled. It's going to be a free kick to Nottingham Forest as Anthony tonight, I don't think he's quite been there tonight for me, Ethan. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I don't think he's been as effective.
No, I mean, he's had a couple of shots, of course, notably hit the bar pretty early on, but I think with both wingers for Manchester United, they've been a bit disappointing, a bit quiet. Garnacho has misplaced a few passes. Anthony just hasn't really been in it, and when he has, it's not quite clicked. Maybe some substitutions could be in order for Manchester United soon, as we're ticking over into the 70s here, because I just don't think it's working for either winger. Anthony in particular, he's looking off the pace.
Well, there's a bad ball there by Yates, and it goes straight to Dalot. I think either side with a possibly extra time looming may have to make a change. Sofan Amrabat plays the ball down the left to Garnacho, and that is a really good challenge by Nico Williams. And it gives Manchester United a corner, but a vital challenge by the Welsh international. So we'll just update you on the scores. Chelsea 2, Leeds 2. There's only 8 minutes before extra time now. That stays the way it is. Wolves 1, Brighton 1, and of course Liverpool 1, Southampton 0. So the corner for Manchester United. It looks like it's Bruno Fernandes that's going to take it, and he goes short to Garnacho. Corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. It's swung in, headed out by Murillo. Victor Lindelof just heads the ball back to Amrabat, who gives it to Dalot. Dalot, nice ball down the left there to Bruno Fernandes, who has a shot, but it's a comfortable save in the end by Matt Turner. But another patient build-up by Manchester United, resulting in a shot on goal. Ethan, it's a tide changing here.
Yeah, I mean, the tide is changing in that Man United are working more opportunities in and around Forest box. But again, it's another shot really in anger that is just straight down the throat of Matt Turner. They're going to have to get a few more shots on goal that are a bit more dangerous, really, to fully swing the momentum as they come forward again.
Here's Anthony now down the right. He pulls it back into the middle, and it's right there to Fernandes again. And Fernandes is furious with himself. Well, it was a poor finish, but he had so much time on the edge of the penalty area, Ethan.
He was in acres of space. He had plenty of time, and that is the exact kind of area where his whip finishes on either foot really could have caused problems for Matt Turner. It's a disappointing finish, straight to the ground and straight down the throat of Turner. A grateful Turner, you have to say, in that scenario.
Yes, because Bruno Fernandes is normally very dangerous from that position. If we take a look at Harry Toffolo, who's down at the moment, we are going to see a substitution now. And it is number 16 coming on for Manchester United, which is Amad Diallo. So maybe they were thinking along the lines that you were thinking. And that perhaps Manchester United need to start taking some of these chances. And it looks like it's going to be Anthony that is being replaced. So Anthony goes off. Amad Diallo comes on, and he's wearing 16, of course. I'm just thinking that I'm not surprised to see that it's Anthony. And it looks like it's just the one substitution. Your thoughts on that one, Ethan? Because I think you called that one, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I won't brag too much about that because Amad Diallo, I think is the most notable sort of attacking name on United's bench tonight, and I think Ten Hag will be hoping he adds just another dimension to the attack because Anthony, as we were talking about, has been a bit toothless, and Amad could perhaps add some pace and trickery. He's impressed on loan spells at different clubs, most notably Sunderland, and now for the next sort of just over a quarter of an hour, he's got a chance to impress in the United first team because this would be a great time to really stamp his authority on that right-wing position for Manchester United.
All right, well, Anthony looks disappointed there, but I think changes are going to have to be made by both sides as we approach possible extra time. It's cleared downfield by Matt Turner, and Divock Origi just trying to get control of that, but that is a really good challenge as well there, made by Nico Williams, but it didn't stay in play, and it's gone out of play for a throw-in, but it is a throw-in to Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest are going to let the referee, Chris Kavanagh, is going to let Harry Toffolo back on the pitch. And the throw-in is going to be taken by Nico Williams, just looking for options available. And Chris Kavanagh is going to be warning him soon if he doesn't get a move on. Here's Divock Origi. He gives the ball to Awoniyi, corner of the penalty area, right-hand side. Nico Williams goes down, and that is good defending by Rafael Varane to allow that to go, by Casemiro to allow that to go out of play. So Forest 0, Manchester United 0. You're listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services, and Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners this season. Here's Garnacho though. Good challenge by Felipe. It's picked up by Rashford, and Rashford just takes it to the touchline on that left-hand side. His pass was short to Amrabat, and just getting across to make the challenge there was Morgan Gibbs-White actually, but the pass did not find Taiwo Awoniyi, and the referee has called a halt to play, and Ryan Yates is complaining, and so is Morgan Gibbs-White. We'll just see what happened there. Oh, they're looking at a penalty here. There's going to be a VAR review for a handball by Felipe in the penalty area, and that looks, if they're just looking at it, well, they've not given it. I actually think, Ethan, that Forest are looking to get away with that.
Well, it does make contact with Felipe's hand. The only thing is, I think there that is sort of mitigating for him is that it is the hand that he's using to steady himself while he slides to block it, and it is quite close contact. I think it's more of a ball-to-hand scenario, but it could have been given. We've seen harsher decisions given, and Manchester United might feel a bit aggrieved about that one, Paul.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's on Amrabat, plays the ball all the way to the corner of the penalty area to Garnacho. Garnacho's got space for the shot. It takes a deflection. It's going to come to Diallo. And he just didn't get enough of a shot on that. He didn't get enough on it. Otherwise, Matt Turner may have been struggling. Forest readying a substitution themselves, but here's Anthony Elanga. It's dropped back to Ryan Yates. I just can't quite see who the Forest substitute might be. But he's just down there on that near side warming up as Murillo. And Diallo coming so close there, Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, it falls nicely to him. He's just, unfortunately, he's got a Forest defender in the way and Matt Turner beyond that, so it was always going to be a difficult one to finish. But it was an opportunity nonetheless, and he's going to be looking to take those throughout the last few minutes of this game, because that's what he's been brought on for.
Well, here's Murillo, and he plays the ball forward to Awonyi, lays it off to Anthony Elanga, and a look at Elanga go. And he's fouled there, and we're going to see our first yellow card to Victor Lindelof. That Elanga was getting away from Lindelof there, and that really is what you would call a professional foul. He made no attempt to win the ball there, did Lindelof. And you can see here what he does here. He just grabs a hold of him and shoves him over. Yellow card for me there, no doubt.
Oh yeah, it's an ultimate professional foul, definite yellow card, because if he's not brought down there, Elanga is running a retreating defence, and suddenly things open up for him. It would have been a dangerous opportunity. Lindelof does what he has to do, but we'll see what Nottingham Forest can do from this free kick now.
Well, it looks like Manchester United are holding a very high line, just inside the D and then around the D of the penalty area. As Victor Lindelof there with the yellow card, and Morgan Gibbs-White may just lift this into the penalty area. They'll have to be careful. Gibbs-White has already scored against Manchester United this season on the 30th of December when Forest won here 2-1. Morgan Gibbs-White is going to lift this ball in, and up in the air there goes Felipe. It goes right back to Nico Williams, and Williams is just trying to turn away from Rashford. Rashford just tries to stop Nico Williams, but Williams finds Murillo. Murillo has got Gibbs-White there as well. Murillo with a shot. And, well, Andre Onana makes a save almost slap bang on his goal line. And if you just take a look here, I mean, Gibbs-White was screaming for the ball. But I think Onana may have seen that late. And here is Sofian Amrabat now. Amrabat down the left-hand side. It's given to Garnacho. Garnacho gets into the penalty area, tries to get the cross in for Rashford, but it's behind the Manchester United forward, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. As we're going to see another substitution now for Manchester United. It is going to be the number coming on here for Manchester United. Just not quite sure who that is. It's not for Manchester United. What am I talking about? It's a substitute for Nottingham Forest. It's Callum Hudson-Odoi that is coming on. Callum Hudson-Odoi has come on, and Divock Origi has come off. Well, Divock Origi has been probably Nottingham Forest's best player. Do you think that was a wise move?
Well, the whole front line's been electric, but if you want to inject some new energy, Hudson-Odoi is not a bad name to bring on, and I think Elanga is still causing problems. Awoniyi can always finish a chance, so maybe Origi's the one that is unfortunate in making way there. Well, time will tell with the last 10 minutes of the game, but I think of all of the players I'd have taken off in the front line, Origi unfortunately is the one that has to bow out for Hudson-Odoi now. Well,
heartbreak for Leeds. Have just conceded in the 91st minute. Conor Gallagher making it 3-2 to Chelsea. As Bruno Fernandes now is going to take this corner. It's swung in. It's a poor one, really, and it'll just be headed away by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Only really as far as Amrabat, and he goes all the way back into the Manchester United half. And Onana launches the ball back in, looking to catch the Forest defence napping there. But as it stands with 11 minutes to go here, Ethan, dare I ask you, are we going to extra time?
I think it's looking more and more like a real possibility, because neither side looks like taking that winning chance, but you never know what can happen in the last 10 minutes. They're both just throwing even more energy at it. There's plenty of substitutes left to come on, and this should be an interesting last 10 minutes.
Well, the cross coming in there from Toffolo. It went all the way to the back post to Elanga, but it now goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. As Nottingham Forest, well, they've thrown everything at it, and they have such a good record against Manchester United in the FA Cup. The reality is they've met each other in the FA Cup 6 times. Forest have won 4 of them, there's been 1 draw and 1 win for United, of course. And in all competitions, the teams have met each other 111 times. Forest winning 34, United winning 53, and 24 draws. So usually it's in the cup, though. It's in the FA Cup. It's sort of favoured Nottingham Forest. Well, they've had chances today for that record to continue. But here's Garnacho. Garnacho gives the ball there to Rashford, and here's Rashford in the penalty area. Rashford with a chance, and he blazes it over the crossbar, and it's going to be a goal kick. And another chance goes bypassing Marcus Rashford, Ethan.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he makes the best decision there, because he lashes it towards goal, and of course he is a striker, he's going to do that. But looking across the box, he had Garnacho and McTominay, both of them available to slide in. They'd have had an open goal to shoot at, and unfortunately for them, Rashford's decided to go alone, and he's blazed it past. And the fans are having to protect themselves pretty heavily in the stands behind the goal there, the Forest home fans. But yeah, Rashford not with the best decision making there, and Nottingham Forest have gotten away with another one.
Yes, that's right into the Bridgeford end behind that goal, and that's just knocked back to the goalkeeper there from Varane, and it's cleared downfield by Onana. It goes out of play, and Harry Toffolo will take the throw. Toffolo throws the ball, and here's Danilo. Danilo goes right across to the right-hand side to Anthony Elanga. Let's see what he can do. Elanga swings the ball in, and it goes across the face of the goal, but nobody touches it. Awoniyi was there, but he wasn't going to make it. Oh, that ball was played right across into that corridor of uncertainty, and nobody was there. How disappointing is that?
Yeah, it's majorly disappointing. Unfortunately for Awoniyi, he can't throw himself at that because he's got Varane in the way, but it's a really tantalising ball in from Elanga. And it's just unlucky that there's not another Forest man at the back post, because that would have been a really dangerous chance. It's promising for them, though, that they're still working these opportunities with that front three. And
here's Awoniyi now. Awoniyi just trying to get away from Diallo, but that's good work from the young man. Gets in the way of that. And now Amrabat is coming forward now for Manchester United. He gives the ball to Bruno Fernandes, to Garnacho, corner of the penalty area, left-hand side. Garnacho drops the ball back to Amrabat. Amrabat's cross. And it finds Dallo, and then back to Casemiro with a shot. And it's just over the bar. And that was a very, very potent break by Manchester United. But the finish, once again, just wasn't there.
Yeah, it's Casemiro. It's not really the man you'd expect to be behind that shot, but it's just over the angle of post and bar. It's not a bad attempt, but that's the kind of chance you want to fall into Bruno Fernandes or Marcus Rashford, and it just doesn't fall to the right man. But both sides looking increasingly dangerous. Not long to go, and maybe we'll see a winner now.
Well, here's Rashford again. He gives it to Amrabat, and Amrabat gives it to Diallo. Diallo just plays the ball to Fernandes, and Diallo gets the ball back. He's got Garnacho available as an option. He gives it to Fernandes. Fernandes hooks the ball into the penalty area, and Felipe just lets it go over his head and through to the goalkeeper, Matt Turner. And here's Murillo. Murillo plays the ball long there. He's looking for he's looking for Morgan Gibbs-White. Awoniyi wins the ball in the air ahead of Rashford, but this is good work by McTominay, turning the ball away. And that's a fancy move by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Finds Taiwo Awoniyi. Ryan Yates across there to Nico Williams. And there's Elanga. Gives the ball back to Yates. So they're into the 8th minute of stoppage time at Stamford Bridge. It looks like that one may be done in 90. And heartbreak for Leeds United. Here's Felipe. Gives the ball there to Toffolo. Toffolo forward to Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's got Amrabat in front of him. Callum Hudson-Odoi tries to get the cross in, but Amrabat blocks it. Another chance for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi skips into the penalty area. He drops it back to Toffolo. Toffolo's cross is very disappointing. It hits the back there of Casemiro and loops into the air. And finally, it's hacked away there by Rafael Varane. It's full time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 3, Leeds United 2. We're going to go over to the Molinuex Stadium now for an update from Kieran.
Pretty boring second half, to be fair with you, Paul. It's been end to end. To be fair, there's been a few chances. Wolves had a great chance a couple of minutes ago with Pablo Sarabia, but unfortunately, again, Brighton's defence of Igor was there to block it away. Still 1-0 here. Just under 10 minutes left to play. It's looking like Wolves could be going through, but obviously it's the FA Cup. Who knows what's going to happen?
All right, well, you've just rejoined us as Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, sorry, it's Harry Toffolo. It's straight into an offside position. The official on the far side allowed it to continue, and Gibbs-White had a chance from just inside the 18-yard box, forcing a good save by Onana, but it was, in fact, offside. And Manchester United now perhaps readying another substitution, another couple of substitutions. Eric Ten Hag is talking there to Johnny Evans, and Manchester United now with Victor Lindelof. We're inside 4 minutes to go, so I think as it is, I won't ask you for the player of the match yet, Ethan. I think we'll wait till we go into extra time if it gets that far. And Amrabat plays the ball back to Onana, and Onana now taking his time. Neither side are really particularly in a hurry at this time. Both of them have games at the weekend. I mean, on Sunday there's a Manchester derby, and Forest have a tricky trip, a very difficult home tie against Liverpool. So I would have thought the last thing either of these teams would want is extra time. But at the moment, neither side is really pressing anything, are they, Ethan?
No, and as you say, it's a strange one. I don't think either of them really want extra time, especially because the majority of the players on this pitch are ones you'd want on at the weekend. I mean, neither side have really named a weekend team. So really, I think they'd want a winner in the last few minutes here, but things seem to have just slowed down a little bit. I'm not really sure what the reasoning is behind that. Maybe there's a logic to the thought, but I can't see it.
As we look here, a foul by Anthony Elanga. There didn't appear to be a lot in that, but it's a free kick to Manchester United. It's just over by the touchline, a few yards inside from the touchline as Forest try to organise their defence, as we've got 2 minutes left here. And it's Bruno Fernandes with the free kick. He's going to whip this one in. Bruno Fernandes. Let's see if Manchester United can do something here. Fernandes whipping the ball in. It seems to bounce. Everyone's like, it's 1-0 to Manchester United. And it's Casemiro in the 89th minute. And my goodness me, whether that is something that Manchester United deserve or not is another matter. But in Casemiro's header, it's that counts. It's that gives Manchester United the 1-goal lead. And just like it was in 1990, it is a header this time from Casemiro, who has scored. And is that enough for Manchester United to go through to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup? Ethan, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, what a whipped delivery this is from Bruno Fernandes. You can never count them out. It's a magical delivery, and Casemiro's just the man that takes the chance. He gets there. It's a great diving header. It's brave, and it goes in at the near post. Heartbreak for Nottingham Forest, because you'd say they've been a really, they've been the better team, in my opinion, throughout this game. But Manchester United, irrepressible, and they've nipped this one late on. And what a way to do it. Of course, there is still time, but Manchester United looking like they're going to be going through here.
Yes, and well, that is Casemiro celebrates in front of the Bridgeford end where those Manchester United fans are congregated. And I would imagine that this would make Eric Ten Hag's position a little bit more stable. But what a wonderful... well, they're looking at it at VAR now. No, that's actually been given. They were looking at it at VAR, or are they still looking at it at VAR? Yeah, they're checking it for a possible offside. Well, there's Rafael Varane in that position that's off. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but I don't see Casemiro in the offside position. What say you?
Well, if this is given as an offside, it's a perplexing decision, because, as you say, I'm looking at this just as you are, and Casemiro, in my opinion, is in an onside position. Unless Varane somehow inhibits a defender, that could be what they're looking at. But it would be an interesting one if it was disallowed, and I can't personally see it going to that. They are taking quite a lengthy review of this one, though, Paul.
Well, they are indeed. And our VAR officials, just to remind you, are Darren Bond, Simon Bennett, and Michael Salisbury are both looking at this one. And I'm not seeing where it is. But what I will say, Ethan, is we've got to be straight about this. We know that the offside rule is extremely complicated now, and it seems to be changing all of the time. So there may be something here that we're just not aware of. But to me, this looks onside to me.
Yeah, again, well, the rules change a lot, evidently, as you asked me before. Nottingham Forest are getting their money's worth with hiring Mark Clattenburg, because maybe he knows something we don't, but the rules are changing. Maybe there's something that's denying it. The only thing I can think of personally is if Varane is actually in the way of a defender, because Casemiro does somehow find himself free, and that must come from somewhere. There is actually a Nottingham Forest player down in the middle of the box there, just as the replay is happening, but I think it's been given.
It's been given. It's a goal, and Casemiro has also picked up a head injury, but the goal is given, and Casemiro can celebrate, even though he has got a head injury and will have to go off the field. In fact, I think Eric Ten Hag, it would be wise to substitute him. Also, while all this has been going on, Liverpool are 2-0 up against Southampton. The goal is by Jayden Dans, and 2-0 to Liverpool. Alex Ferguson, delighted. He'll remember the moment when Mark Robins scored in 1990 that pretty much saved his job. Well, the hero tonight is Casemiro, as Nottingham Forest preparing Giovanni Reina, and also Rodrigo Ribeiro, and I'm just trying to see who's coming off there at the moment. So Reina and Ribeiro are on for Nottingham Forest, as we'll just try and get a look here who's come off. I think Ryan Yates was one of them. I'm just not quite sure. So Danilo is off, but I think Ryan Yates was the other one. Indeed he was. So it's Ryan Yates and Danilo off, and Giovanni Reina and Rodrigo Ribeiro are on, as we will get the game back underway. There's 7 minutes of injury time, Ethan, but you can probably tack on another few more minutes for the VAR check, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, the VAR check was quite a lengthy one, and just some frustration there from Nuno Espirito Santo. And these substitutions just adding yet more time on. So I think we'll be here for a little while yet. And Forest will be okay with that. It gives them more of a chance, more of an opportunity to perhaps manipulate equaliser and take this one even further.
Well, there's a double substitution now, and Mainu and Evans are coming on. Amrabat is off. See the other guys coming off. It's Scott McTominay by the looks of it. So Scott McTominay and Sofiane Amrabat are off. Johnny Evans and Kobe Mainu are on for Manchester United, double sub by both teams. Russ Vernon has commented, Leeds didn't deserve to get beat by Chelsea tonight. Leeds outplayed Chelsea in the second half. Not seen the game, Russ, I can't comment. But it seemed like it was a very disappointing in the end to concede in the last minute like that. So always heartbreaking when that happens. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Here is Morgan Gibbs-White, and out there it goes to Reina. Reina drops the ball to Williams, and Williams gives the ball to Elanga, and the ball is now played through looking for Nico Williams, and the ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick to Manchester United, as Eric Ten Hag just behind the fourth official there, as Nottingham Forest fans looking on. Well, it's been unfortunate for them, but Ethan, they have missed chances, haven't they?
Yeah, as harsh as it is to say, I think the Nottingham Forest attack only really have themselves to blame. They tore Man United open on the counter-attack numerous times, and they just didn't put the ball away. It is quite heartbreaking for them, you have to say, but of course, the chances have to be taken on the night. Manchester United have done it, even though they haven't really been as convincing.
Well, the throwing is taken, and here is Rashford, who plays the ball forward. Chasing this one now down is Diallo, and the referee has given a free kick. The stoppage time has been increased to 9 minutes, we're seeing now here. So we've played just about 6 of them, so time is just about running out. There's 5 minutes to be added on at Molinuex, where Wolves are holding off Brighton and Hove Albion as Morgan Gibbs-White takes a free kick, launched over to the right-hand side to the corner of the penalty area, and Murillo is up there, but he runs the ball out of play. Well, let's get our final report from Molinuex, providing it stays 1-0. Is it still 1-0 there, Kieran?
Yeah, it is. It's still 1-0, but Brighton on the attack here, but that's just gone out for a Brighton corner. Wolves have been defending pretty well, but it's the usual Wolves thing. We put 11 men behind the ball when we're 1-0 up, and it seems like we've done that most of the second half. But Brighton with a corner here. We've played just a minute of the 5 minutes added on. We're hoping it remains 1-0 here, which sets up a nice second West Midlands derby against Coventry, but we'll wait and see. Obviously, still 4 minutes left to play the ball safely in the hands of Jose Sarr. Still 1-0 here.
All right. Well, I might as well ask you for your player of the match, Ethan.
Well, it's rare to go with the losing side, but personally for me, it's Anthony Elanga. He was ever present in the Nottingham Forest attack, causing issues on the counter, and he's just, a couple of times he perhaps slowed it down, could have taken his chances, but Forest have been causing issues all day, and he is the main reason behind it, and he's just unfortunate to be on the losing side tonight.
So, the player of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services, goes to Nottingham Forest's number 21, Anthony Elanga. And here is Callum Hudson-Odoi at the moment, and it gives it back to Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes launches the ball forward there to Alejandro Garnacho. He's got Nico Williams in front of him. Garnacho turns away from Nico Williams and gives it to Kobe Mainoo. Mainoo drops the ball back, and he tries to get the cross in there, does Mainoo, but it is now with Ribeiro, and Ribeiro trying to win the ball and get a breakaway for Nottingham Forest. But the Manchester United fans may well celebrate tonight. Forest may consider themselves unlucky, but this may sound harsh, but if you don't take your chances, you don't deserve to win the game. And that's the reality of football, as cruel as a game as it can be. Bruno Fernandes trying to get the cross in now, over by the corner flag down the left-hand side. It's a good challenge by Nico Williams, and it goes behind for a Manchester United corner as Felipe and Fernandes are getting into it. And really, it's best now for everybody just to calm down a little bit, as we're very close to being done here. As Chris Kavanagh is just calming everybody down. Smart work by Chris Kavanagh. He's just trying to keep things nice and calm and under control. And Bruno Fernandes now, he's going to take all the time in the world from this corner. Media, radio, jingles and gaming says Manchester United have won it at this point. I think I would agree with that. I suppose you would too, Ethan. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to see any other outcome, and Bruno Fernandes just playing the role of the agitator. But as we look back, there is actually a dangerous, I think it's Felipe who's grabbed his throat. This could be an interesting ending, a dark ending to this game, really, and it's disappointing because Forest have put in such a good performance. Already they've got the disappointment of losing the game, but at this point, that has to be looked at, I think.
Well, I think it is being looked at. It's a VAR review for a red card against Felipe. But I think, yes, it looks like there's going to be no further action. So the corner will be taken as another VAR check passes us by. And this time it's determined that Felipe didn't do anything. I have to credit Bruno Fernandes. He could have literally gone crawling around over that, but he didn't. He stayed on his feet as Nottingham Forest now will get the game back underway with Matt Turner. Matt Turner just gives the ball to Murillo. Media radio jingles against Forest were doing so well till that happened, and the ball is cleared away there. And it's full time. And Eric Ten Hag can breathe a sigh of relief as its Manchester United team look like they're going through to face Liverpool in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. in what is going to be a mouth-watering tie at Old Trafford. For here now, the goal came on the 89th minute for Casemiro. The ball was swung in from Bruno Fernandes in a fantastic way. Header by Casemiro, just put it past Matt Turner. Forest had chances but didn't take them. Before we hand over and get our final report from Kieran, Ethan, do you want to just give us your assessment on this game?
Yeah, well, ultimately, unfortunately for Nottingham Forest, it's the side that were under the cosh for most of the night, Manchester United, that come away with the win, and that's what you've got to do in cup runs. They've won ugly. I remember, again, this happening a couple of years ago for Forest as well, at home to Liverpool, where they were arguably the better side and lost. It's a disappointing way to lose the game, and it's a disappointing end with that Felipe and Fernandes incident. But it's an important win for Manchester United. They carry on through into the next round of the competition. It looks like they're going to be hosting Liverpool, and again, as you say, that is a huge game. So it's an important win for Manchester United, and they keep on going in the FA Cup.
All right, thank you very much, Ethan. Did a great job today. It was nice working with you. Kieran, can I get your full-time report, please?
We're still playing at the minute. We're now into 10 seconds over the 95th minute. Brighton with a last-ditch corner. Their goalkeeper's coming all the way up. Just stay with me just a second. We'll see what happens here. This should be the full-time whistle if this goes out of play. Corner taken. Headed in. Picked up by Brighton's goalkeeper. Kicked away. Still going out for a goal kick. We are still playing here at Molinuex. Still 1-0. But it looks like this result will stand, which sets up a lovely West Midlands derby again for Wolves. So it looks like the full-time result here will be Wolves 1, Brighton 0.
All right, thank you, Kieran, for your updates today. Thanks to the listeners who have listened in today and for everyone that's commented. Really appreciate your comments, and we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this broadcast today. Finally here, though, Nottingham Forest Cup run comes to an end in the 5th round. For Manchester United, it only gets tougher from here, with Liverpool in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Around the grounds, Chelsea beat Leeds by 3-2, a last-minute goal there. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1, as you've just heard. Should be just about full-time there at Wolves now. Wolves 1, Brighton 0. And Liverpool have just added a 3rd goal, and it's a second one for Jayden Dan. So it definitely does look like now we're going to be seeing a Liverpool v Manchester United quarter-final. So for now, thank you very much for joining us today, and enjoy your evening. Bye for now.